review figurative language. So, what are the two words that we remember with a simile? And identifying a simile. So how? Like or as. It compares something to something else. Okay. We have a metaphor. It's just like a simile, but we don't use what two words? Like or as. Good. Now, personification. What I want you to do is look at the base word. What is the base word in personification? Person. That's a trick to remember that personification is about a person. Now, the thing that is doing the act of personification, is that human? No. So it's something, an animal or something that's not real, that is acting like what? A person or a human. So it's giving traits to non-human things. Okay, the next one we have is alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of a vowel or consonant. Consonant, good. And then the only difference between alliteration and consonants is it's the repeating of a what? It's a vowel. It's a vowel for consonants. Okay? Now the next thing we have hyperbole. And what's that base, or actually the prefix that I want you to remember? Remember the word hyper in the word. And when we get all hyper, we exaggerate. So when we have hyperbole, it's exaggerating something. And it's to the point where it won't be true. Okay. Next. Yes. I'm sorry. Next one we have onomatopoeia. What's this word? Let's do this. Snap. What's this? I had a bag in my hands and I did this. What does that sound? Okay. If I had my desk and I went bang, bang, or pound, so what's the definition of onomatopoeia? Raise your hand if you can tell me what onomatopoeia is. Okay, that's another one. What does onomatopoeia do? Arthur?
It's like action sounds.
It's an action sound where it sounds exactly like how the word's pronounced. Good. Okay. Let's see. And we've got it all. So here's what I want you to do. We're going to go through the words in the song, and we're going to highlight so we can pay attention to how this gives us the actual definition. And it also gives us examples. So what I want you to do is memorize this song so that when you're taking your big test, you can think about these examples, and it'll help you.
Does this make sense?
Yes, we need a new highlighter. Okay.
I don't even know about that.
Thank you. Okay, just set that over there. Okay, we're going to begin going over the lyrics to figurative language. Did you get one of them? Okay. Now we have a chorus. With the chorus, it starts out. Sometimes what you mean is not exactly what you say. That's figurative language, using words in different ways. Now, what did we say about Bob Marley when he says, "Please don't rock my boat"? What does that really mean, Victoria?
Oh, it means don't get me angry.
Don't get me angry. Remember, this is how we get the name Language Arts. And what do I mean when I say the name Language Arts? What does that mean?
Because it's a language, and when you bring that complication and stuff like that, it makes it art. Because that thing, people go watch TV and entertain themselves, so they look forward to that kind of stuff.
Okay, so this is how the language turns into an art. This is how it makes it interesting. If we didn't have all these types of sayings, poor Bob Marley would be singing, "Please don't upset me," and his songs would be so boring. Okay, so we have, sometimes what you mean is not exactly what you say. That's figurative language, using words in different ways. We have personification, alliteration, assonance, hyperbole, onomatopoeia, metaphor, and simile. Okay, verse 1. Get your highlighters open. Okay, we have, when Sally seems to sit somewhere separate from Sonia. Hey, that's enough. Or Caleb calls Chris because he's coming to California. It's called alliteration. Now with alliteration, who can tell us what does alliteration mean? All the words start with one letter. Is it a vowel or a consonant with alliteration? It's a consonant. So this first one, when Sally seems to sit somewhere separate from Sonia, what's the letter we should highlight? Only highlight the letter S at the beginning of each word, please. Now the next one it says, or Caleb calls Chris because he's coming to California. What's that letter we should highlight? C. C. So highlight the C's. So it's called alliteration. That's what occurs when you got the same sound at the start of every word. So let's highlight where it says, that's what occurs when you got the same sound at the start of every word. So this type of figurative language is called what, everybody? Alliteration. So highlight alliteration there too. Thank you for helping. Okay. Next part of verse 1, it says, but when you got a vowel sound that keeps sounding the same, that's a figure called assonance. Yeah, that's its name. It's what I'm trying to define by providing this example, but I cannot deny that assonance can be a handful. So what is he saying in this last part of that verse? Richard, what is he saying there? Do we have an example?
No. So you keep your ears open as I listen to you.
No, right here. Is he saying that we have an example for assonance?
No.
No, we don't. We don't have an example, so he said it can be a handful. But what do we already know about alliteration, and how is it like assonance? So how? What's the difference between assonance and alliteration? Ayan wants to help you out. Go ahead.
Alliteration, they're all consonants.
They're all consonants, but what's in assonance we have? Very good. So let's highlight when you've got a vowel sound that keeps sounding the same. When you've got a vowel sound that keeps sounding the same, let's highlight that, and then let's highlight assonance. Got a vowel sound that keeps sounding the same, and then highlight assonance. And then it goes back to the chorus. So let's go next to the verse. Okay, verse 2. A simile is something that you use to compare two unrelated things with an element that's shared. Let's highlight that first line. A simile is something that you use to compare two unrelated things with an element that's shared. So that's the definition right there. We have an example in there. Faith, will you read the example?
My mind is like an ocean, it's as smooth as gem, but it's only a simile like
Okay, since we have examples there, we already have a definition. The only thing I would say to highlight after that are the two words that help us to know. What are those clear words, everybody?
Like or as.
Highlight like or as. Very good. Highlighting like or as. Okay, the next part we have, a metaphor is similar, but watch out. Be careful because you've got to leave like or as out. Let's highlight metaphor, similar. Metaphor is similar. And then let's highlight where it says, be careful because you've got to leave like or as out. Be careful because you've got to leave like or as out. I remember yesterday when we were going over the notes, we said Richard is as busy as a bee. And then when we take out the as, we say Richard is a bee. That's just like how we turn it into a metaphor. We leave like or as out. So, what are our examples? Joyce, can you read the example? My mind? My mind is.
My mind is going with using oceans. My words are in rivers. Keep your ears open as I continue to hear this.
Very good. Just like what I said when we had the example with Richard being as busy as a bee, we take the like or as out, and here's the example doing the same thing in this verse. Okay, so then it goes back to the chorus, and then we're going to go next to verse 3. So let's all look down by verse 3. Now, if the sun's smiling down or the boat hugged the shore, that's personification, nothing less, nothing more. Now, let's highlight the base word in personification. And what is the base word in personification?
Person.
Person. Very good. Now, when we have personification, we give human traits or human actions to what? We give human actions to things that are not real. Not real or not
Human.
not living, not human. Okay, so we have the sun. Is the sun a human? No. So let's underline sun. So because that's our example, because it doesn't come right out and give us a definition. So underline sun, and the sun's action that's like a human is what?
Smiling.
Smiling. So underline smiling. That's sun smiling. Just underline it. Okay, the next one we have the boat hugged the shore. What is the non-human thing? Boat. Underline boat. And the boat is doing what that's like a human? It's hugging. So the boat hugged. Okay. So the next line we have, but with a buzz or a ding or a hiss or a roar. That's onomatopoeia that we're using for sure. Okay. I need a volunteer who can give me the examples of onomatopoeia in that part. Marcus? Can you give me one? Buzz. Ding. What else, Kayla? Hiss. Roar. Highlight those words. And then highlight the word that they are, which is onomatopoeia. Now the next one we have, it says hyperbole. Man, that's like 1,000,000 times harder. What is that prefix that we highlight in hyperbole? Hyper. Highlight hyper and hyperbole. Now remember, we don't want to make an accident and not pronounce it right. So what's that letter that we highlight at the end, everybody?
E.
E. Highlight the E.
Hyperbole.
Hyperbole. So we highlight hyper and then we highlight the E so we remember to pronounce the E. Okay. So we have our example, but in the next line it says, take something true, then exaggerate it way farther. Let's highlight that whole part. Take something true, then exaggerate it way farther. Highlight that whole line. Let's all repeat those last two lines. Let's all say them together. Now you've heard this song from beginning to finish. Now you've got some tools to draw your literary finish. Okay. Now I'm going to start the song, and we're going to just listen to the guys and girls rapping it, and then the second time we'll sing it together, okay? So let's just quietly, if you want to just quietly sing along, you can, but not loud, because I want everybody to be able to hear the song. Are we ready?
Yes.
Sometimes what you need is not exactly what you say. That's figurative language, using words in different ways. Personification, alliteration, dissonance, and hyperbole. Onomatopoeia, metaphor, and simile.
What sound is he just sit somewhere separate from Sonia? Caleb calls Chris cause he's coming to California. It's called alliteration. That's what occurs when you got the same sound at the start of every word, but when you got a vowel sound that keeps sounding the same, that's the thing he calls assonance. Yeah, that's his name. That's what I'm trying to define by providing this example. But I cannot deny that assonance can be a handful.
Sometimes what you do is not exactly what you say. That's figurative language, using words in different ways. Personification, alliteration, dissonance, and hyperbole.
shares. My mind is like an ocean, it's as smooth as jazz, but it's only a symphony if it uses like the ass. A metaphor similar, but watch out. Be careful, you got to leave like an ass out. My mind is an ocean, my words are a river, so keep me as open as I continue to deliver.
Sometimes what you need is not exactly what you said. That's figurative language using words in different ways. The simplification, alliteration, consonants and hyperbole. Onomatopoeia, metaphor, and simile.
Now with the sun smiling down with the boat hug the shore, that's personification, nothing less, nothing more. But with the buzz or a ding or a hiss or a roar, it's onomatopoeia that we're using for sure. Hyperbole, man, that's like a million times harder. Take something true, then exaggerate it way farther. Now you've heard this song from beginning to the finish. Now you've got some tools to draw your literary image.
Sometimes what you need.
Okay, I know it's going back to the chorus, but we're running out of time. Let's try singing it.
Sometimes what you
Okay, you can grab your pencil as your microphone. Remember, we gotta do some dancing along with it. Are we ready? Okay.
Sometimes what you need.
Sometimes what you need is not exactly what you say. That's figurative language using words in different ways. Complication, alliteration, assonance, and hyperbole. Metaphor and simile. Mythology sits somewhere separate from somewhere. It's all alliteration. That's what the word. I got the same time to start of every word. You sound the same. That's a word. Yeah, that's the same. I'm trying to define. Sometimes what you need is not exactly what you say.